a vegetable garden places you in the season that you're in. It's winter for us, and I know that we're beginning to feel, that we want to make food that's warm, that's cozy, that's authentic to us and what grows here.
This is Chicoria spadona, but it's looking very sprightly from the cold. It likes the cold. In Italy you get it wild. It has those beautiful blue flowers in the summer. And like all chicories, they're very bitter. With chicories like, the radicchio or treviso, all those ones that like the cold weather. This is delicious. This even, let's just taste a bit.
Have a taste?
Quite bitter. They lose their bitterness when you cook them, but not entirely. There's always some
bitterness.
There's always some bitterness that remains.
Particularly when it's blanched as well. It's lovely warm with olive oil.
Yeah.
And actually I think we might cook it with some mozzarella.
Yes.
And have a warm dish today.
Yeah,
I think that would be really nice. So I'm just going to make a really simple starter. This is burrata, which is made in Puglia, in the very southern tip of Italy. It's made from cow's milk as opposed to a lot of the mozzarellas, which are buffalo milk. And the inside, it's filled with cream. And I'm just going to pop it in the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes, while I cook the chicoria into the warm pan. Sprinkle it with salt. And really what you want to do is just keep on turning it as it begins to wilt. Take the burrata out of the oven. It's begun to leak a little bit of its milk, which is what we want. So really now all I'm going to do is put all the flavors together. I'm going to add the New Seasons olive oil, quite generous with it. Next we have some chili, which is dried chili, not fresh. These anchovies are known as Ortiz anchovies, and they come from San Sebastian in Spain. I'm just going to drape a couple of anchovies, and there it is. Now I'm going to make the quail. I'm going to roast it very simply with the sage and the marjoram that we picked from the garden. And I'm also going to put in just a little bit of lemon. Be quite generous with the herbs because they're going to flavor the birds nicely. They're going to rub them with a little bit of oil. Finally, season them. You need to roast quail for between 10 and 12 minutes. It's on about 240. So while the quail is going to cook, we can make the cavolo nero.
The Italians cook with it a lot.
Especially in Tuscany, don't they?
Yeah.
It's a very traditional Tuscan vegetable. It really means black cabbage, doesn't it?
It does, but it's actually a kale.
So I've got water on to boil here, and to that I'm going to add a really good pinch of salt. And I think that would probably take about 4 or 5 minutes. It's ready now, so I'm just going to take it off, shake off as much water as possible. As soon as it comes off the stove and it's still very warm, I'm going to dress it with the New Seasons extra virgin olive oil. So now I'm literally just going to put in a couple of cloves of garlic, pound it in a pestle and mortar. I'm also going to add just a couple of drops of lemon juice. Now it's ready to eat. To accompany the roast quail, I'm going to do potato and fennel al forno. Now I'm going to add quite a lot of marjoram, and I'm going to finish it off with some extra virgin olive oil. Generous sprinkle of black pepper, freshly ground, always freshly ground. Pound 2 cloves of garlic. A good pinch of salt. Potatoes need to be well seasoned. The last thing I'm going to put in is some lemon peel. The quail is cooked. And what I'm going to do is just add a lovely full-bodied red wine and just return it to the oven. I'm then going to let the quail rest for about 10 minutes and then it's ready to serve. For dessert, I'm going to make a panettone ice cream. Pour in the milk, 540 grams of milk. Just split the vanilla pod down the center, and I'm just going to put it on a fairly gentle heat. The heat is what's going to help the vanilla pod's flavor come out And as soon as it's simmered, I'm going to take it off the stove and let it rest to cool slightly just before I stir it into the eggs and sugar. 6 eggs, and I'm going to put them straight into the sugar. Whisk the eggs and the sugar together. So now the milk is hot and the vanilla pod has infused into the milk. What I'm going to do is just take it off the stove, pour it over the eggs, give it a good whisk, remove the vanilla pods, and just return the milk to the pan. It can curdle, so you must pay attention. You need to be a little bit patient. It takes probably between 8 and 10 minutes. It'll leave a ribbon trail on the back of a wooden spoon if I run my hand across it. Don't leave it sitting in the saucepan. You want to take it straight off the stove. Allow it to cool for 1 or 2 minutes before I add the panettone. And I'm going to set it aside to cool completely before I put it in the ice cream maker. Well, I think the way I love to cook is very, very simply. I like to showcase produce. I think that's our responsibility as chefs. I just like simple, sustainable, seasonal food.
So Skye, this looks amazing.
Thank you.
And I love the idea of the anchovies, you know, with the saltiness of the anchovies, with the pepperiness from the chicory, because that's what you get from the chicory, isn't it?
Yeah, some quail.
Yeah,
And that's also the cavolo we picked.
Is that our cavolo?
That's your cavolo.
Oh, look. This
I
looks
know.
delicious. So what sort of potatoes did you use for this?
I use the little Roseville potatoes.
Oh, the little waxy ones?
Yeah.
Mm.
Cavolo's good.
Cavolo's amazing.
From your garden.
Delicious. No, it's really, really good combinations. I like the herbs in the middle with it's
Yeah.
almost like a sort of, you know, the sort of acidity in the citrus with the sort of gaminess of the bird is really, really
It's good.
yummy.
Okay, so Luce, I want you to try this ice cream and tell me what you think it is.
Mm. You can really taste the sort of fruit in it, and then you can taste the vanilla.
It's
It's
panettone.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's so bizarre because it brings back so many. It's immediately bringing back memory. It tastes very Christmassy. I think
Yeah,
it's delicious.
it's quite good.
That's really good.
With really good ingredients, you can't really go wrong.